On June 24th back in 2020, my beautiful wife Florina slipped away into eternity peacefully, probably around 3:15 a.m. in the very, very early hours of the morning. And while all that was happening, a little girl by the name of Amali was peacefully sleeping back at her house, and she would wake up in a couple of hours' time and realise that it was her 4th birthday. So it was a bittersweet day that Florina had died and we grieved for her, but we still celebrated Amali's 4th birthday. And it was poignant because Amali was very, very close to Florina. And the reason for that was that when she was born, her mother Kobe had some severe problems with her eyes, and the doctors told her she wasn't to carry anything around for a long time. So who did all the carrying? Florina. And what was part of that carrying? Amali. So over a long period of time, they bonded together and they just loved each other. Amali adored Florina.
Your sisters need a jumper on.
Yeah.
You need a jumper on too. Are you a bit cold? No. Thank you. I love you.
A couple of days after we buried Florina, I began my first and probably my only ever documentary, and it was called The Girl in Pink Overalls. And the reason behind the title was that that's what she was wearing the night that I met her in April 1979. And that documentary took me probably, I think, around 50 days or so to do, and it was during COVID that it was being done. Sometimes I did some illegal stuff during that time. And when I completed it, I invited the whole family, definitely illegally, around to my house, and we watched it together and we cried together. And it was just part of that whole grieving process. And in the last scene in that documentary, I actually fold those pink overalls up and I placed them in a drawer in my bedroom. And when the documentary was finished, Amali suddenly ran out of the room. I thought, where's she going? So I followed her up the passageway and I found her in my bedroom, and she was staring at the drawer that she'd seen in the movie where I had put Florina's pink overalls. I said, what is it, Amali? And she said, is that where Nini's overalls are? I said, it is. She said, can I have a look? I said, of course you can. So I opened them up and she said, can I touch them? I said, of course you can, Amali. So she picked them up and she actually hugged them to herself, and then she said, I can smell Nini, I can smell Nini. And I said, would you like to take them out and show the others? So she did that. During the next year, there was a lot of grieving and a lot of tears as we visited Florina's gravesite quite often with the family. But on Amali's 5th birthday, I had a bit of an idea. And she had talked about Nini over and over and over and over again and wanted to watch bits of the video the whole time. There was bits that I didn't show her because they were a little bit too strong near the end. But there were selected parts that we did show the kids. And on her birthday, it was now opened up a little bit so that you could get together and at least go to a restaurant somewhere. And we went to this place and it was Amali's birthday, and I gave her 3 presents. And the first one she opened up was a frame of Florina, and she just hugged it and walked around the room. The second one was a picture of her and Florina together, and again she hugged that photo and walked around the room hugging it and kissing it. And the third one was another frame, but this time there was nothing in this frame, and she said, Nodji, there's nothing in this frame. And I said, Amali, that's because you're going to need these. And she opened up a package, and inside the package were the pink overalls. And I said, put them on. So she put them on. It was hilarious just looking at her try to fit into those pink overalls. But the idea was then that every year that she would take a photo with the age that she was now in those pink overalls and put it in that empty frame. And at some stage she was going to fit into it. And I said to her, you know what, if one day you fit into these pink overalls and you want them, they're yours. Only a couple of days ago, because I'm filming this in June 2025, a young girl called Amali woke up and ran downstairs to see if there were any birthday presents for her. And I rang her quite early in the morning and said, happy birthday, Amali. And she said, Nodji, I get to put on Nini's pink overalls again today. And I said, you do. And so later that day I went round and we went through the tradition of Amali putting Florina's pink overalls on. I'm telling you, at 9 years old, they're just starting to fit just a little bit. Still a way to go, but we still do that traditionally every single birthday.
Happy birthday, dear Molly. Happy birthday to you.
Is there anything that you would say to her?
I'm very, very sorry that you couldn't come to my birthday. I'm very, very sorry. I'm just missing you. Mum, it's missing you too. Mum, has been crying all day because you have died, Nini.
What you got, Molly? They're beautiful. Who are they for?
Nini!